Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show, slowly winding down, but of course we have to discuss something to help us relax a little bit. If we're not already relaxed from a leisure park, let's try to get you even more relaxed, help you settle into your new day. Pivot Nigeria is a platform about, reframing the lens on how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. It's a platform to challenge prevailing narratives, celebrate authentic, achievements, and spark solutions that show Nigeria's true story. It is a national thought leadership platform created to reframe Nigeria's reputation agenda. And to assess this, we're joined now from Lagos by Victoria Uwadoka, the convener Pivot Nigeria, Reframing the Lens, happening really soon, of course, in Lagos. We have Victoria Uwadoka, I beg your pardon. Victoria, thank you so much for joining. Good morning. Yes, Ms. Victoria, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, but I can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear. Good morning. Ms. Uwadoka, can you hear us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear us clearly now?
Good morning. Clearly, I can hear you, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. You know, the distance between Enugu and Lagos is quite a lot, so sometimes the sound gets lost in transmission.
Yes.
All right, so how about you go ahead and lead this narrative? Tell us about Pivot Nigeria and what you mean by owning the narrative and indeed reframing the lens.
Thank you very much, Nathalie, and really delighted to have this opportunity to have this conversation today, just one day before we celebrate Nigeria's 65th anniversary. And honestly, an anniversary, Independence Day, is not just a date on the map. It's not just a time on the calendar. It is a time to pause and reflect on where we are coming from, where we are right now, and where we want to go. And I'm very intentional about saying where we want to go, not where anybody else thinks that we want to go. And Pivot Nigeria is an opportunity that we have created to have conversations around the impact of how we present ourselves and how we represent ourselves, and the impact that has on our mindset, our ability to take the opportunities that exist here, and also our opportunity to gain access to opportunities that are available globally. So, for quite a while, I've been amazed at how it appears that as Nigerians, we're very happy to talk about the negative things that happen to us, and to even corroborate the negative stories about us as Nigerians. And I think that that's doing a lot to erode the trust, the hope, the mindsets that will enable us to become more productive or to take advantage of the great opportunities that we have in Nigeria. We seem to see everything that we have that could actually be an advantage as a disadvantage. Everything that could be a plus for us seems to be a minus. And it's interesting when you see the difference between how we see ourselves as individuals and when we look at our nation, Nigeria. And for us at Pivot Nigeria, what we want to do is to reframe the lens on how we look at Nigeria. Okay. It is okay if anybody outside of Nigeria speaks negatively about us, but what matters is how we see ourselves and how we speak about ourselves, because any change in the perception about us would come from a belief in who we are and how we see ourselves and how we tell our own story, and not allow other people to tell a story about us that they are not as qualified as we are to tell our own story. So for us, that's what Pivot Nigeria is.
Obviously, Nigeria's reputation has weight outside globally, right? Economically, politically, and whatnot. So, but how are we? How does Pivot Nigeria plan to, convert talk into tangible change? Driving this conversation.
Thank you. That's a very good question. We have had efforts to rebrand Nigeria, and rebranding in itself may not solve a problem if the root of the problem still remains. So Pivot Nigeria is not looking to paint the sepulchre or paint white black or paint white black or paint black white either. What we're looking for is to responsibly balance our narrative, place our challenges side by side with the opportunities, and beyond complaining, beyond lamentations, look to actions that we can take, ownership that we can take as individuals to change the way we see things, and that's why the theme reframing the lens is very important. You see a cup half full or half empty, depending on the lens with which you look at it. When you look at a whole elephant, it depends on your position and the angle at which you look at it. Now, you will agree with me that for a long time, Nigeria's narrative has been that of corrupt people, wicked stepmothers, wicked mothers-in-law, wicked uncles and village people. But that's not the whole truth about us. We're also the nation of entrepreneurs. We're also the nation of the brave. We're also the nation that has produced great success stories, be it in the art, be it in the tech industry, any industry you look at, we're producing great things. So what are we going to do differently? We're coming together to co-create a framework that will enable us to tell our story across different angles. Remember what I talked about, representing ourselves. We can't go around saying, oh, we're great Nigerians, we're great people, but we represent ourselves in the ways that kind of corroborate the negative stories that we hear. So, think about it. You come into the airport, who are the first people that you meet? You meet the customs, you meet the immigration, and then when you get through all that, you probably meet the first taxi driver that approaches you to take you home or to wherever you're going. Think about the impressions that we make at every touch point. So beyond having conversations, we're already driving partnerships, and we're very grateful for the partnerships that we have already to drive through these conversations at other levels, and then also to engage in projects that allow us to train, to help us to imbibe a culture that really is more responsible around understanding the impact of reputation on how we are able to grow as a nation or to take the opportunities that are available globally. There are a couple of people who are very close to me, and maybe you have met some of those people who have put through great proposals, great position statements for opportunities that are available globally. And the feedback they get is, oh, your presentation, your proposal was really strong, but at this time, we're not taking people from your country. And we ask why? Why is every other person able to take these opportunities and not us? It's because of the impression that we've created or the stories that we've corroborated. I do not think that anyone else has a greater opportunity than we do to reframe our perception, except to own the narrative as Nigerians.
Great points that you've raised, but one would say that Nigeria as a nation appears to be a repeat offender. This morning, we woke up to tragic news concerning the death of an Arise News presenter, producer, Somtochukwu Maduagu, due to an armed robbery attack at a private residence. And this has also sparked new conversations around insecurity and indeed the toll it's taken on the nation and, of course, on the image of Nigeria as a whole. So how do you solve an ongoing dilemma like this for a repeat offender that appears to be Nigeria?
Thank you. That's a very good question. Nigeria is a repeat offender, right? And that's what I talked about, presenting and representing ourselves. And by the way, when I saw that news last night, I was really, truly heartbroken by that. One can die, but the reason for that incident is very heartbreaking. In the heart of Abuja, armed robbery in the heart of Abuja. So yes, and that's why that needs to be had. Now, how might we grow a culture where people are more accountable? There is someone that is in charge of security, right? What are we doing? What actions are we taking? So we will hold those conversations even in those rooms. And I think that the first thing about, changing anything is creating awareness about it, right? And then taking the right measures to, speak truth to power, yes, responsibly. What can we do? What could we have done to prevent this situation from happening? And I think that that's a culture that we need to grow as well. So you see that on different levels. I might not even be able to see the end of this vision that I am pushing or that we're promoting, but we know that we can take one step at a time to address the situation. If you look at the opportunities that are available to us, look at that. How do we even begin to take the tourism opportunities if we do not solve the problem of insecurity? Growth happens in a zone that is a no-fear zone, right? And how will we begin to address that? So there are many low-hanging fruits that we can begin to really articulate actions around and support those actions. If all of us gather around one thing, I think that we are able to resolve that. We have the ability to fix the things that are broken. But if we do not continue this conversation? Are we going to forget Madagona after a few weeks? Are we going to move on to other stories? Did we really examine, for example, the issue that happened on Ibom Air? Did we go into depth into that? What have we done about it? The recent fire at United Capital, what have we done about it? What steps have we taken to correct? It's one thing to let things happen. It's another to learn from that and to make the corrections that are important. So we're going to take these conversations to different rooms, to government, to civil society, to individuals like you and us. We all have a role to play. Where Nigeria is either a result of our action or our inaction. There's an apathy around voting, around contributing. We need to get over this apathy because no one else will do it for us. And we have things that we can look to. Look at tech. Tech has thrived in spite of the environment. Nollywood is thriving. There's still a ways to go, but it's thriving in spite of the environment. Our music industry is thriving in spite of the environment. Our fashion industry, there are many industries that are thriving in spite of the challenges. And we see the new changes that are happening in education. The important thing is to take on a project and run it. So part of what we're going to be doing, going out from the conference, which is just the launch, is taking those actions. And I'm sure we'll be coming to you to tell you more about the actions that we're taking on the ground. So, training, mentorship, and all of that to resolve the challenges that we deal.
So you're talking about wicked grandmothers and so somewhat ritual killings too. This is what Nollywood how am I going to put it now?
Captures in its movies,
right? It captures in its movies and also a catalyst. Nollywood is actually the catalyst. So my question is, are you also going to be engaging the stakeholders of Nollywood on how to tell our stories better? Because they're the ones that amplified all these factors you wrote out.
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing. And, Nollywood, every point of contact with our country is a story told. The story is not just the conversation that we're having on TV right now. It's in our attitudes. It is in the words that we use, even when we're portraying the news or talking about the news and all that, all the words that we use. We have to be very intentional about it. So Nollywood is a strong gatekeeper of our storytelling. So we will be engaging Nollywood. And we have one of the icons of Nollywood, one of the cultural icons, who is with us on this journey, Richard Moffett-Damijo, R&D. And we're going to be driving our projects, right after the conference that we've already discussed. And we're very delighted to receive a confirmation from NECA of Goge Africa TV, who is going to be supporting us on this journey. Of course, Afia TV is one of our supporters on this journey. And we're going to be driving out initiatives, programs, projects that are really going to begin to address these issues. They include trainings, of course. We have, all those partnerships that we are really building. We are building a movement of patriots who are going to put their back to the work to drive these changes that we want to see from the grassroots.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, many people you've already sparked their interest, people that want to get involved in this. So how can people participate? Where is this happening? When is this happening? And how can we all get involved in this pivot movement?
Thank you very much. So the inaugural conference will take place on the 3rd of October, starting at 10 a.m. at the Museum Center in Lagos. And then to get involved with us and to accept our invitation to be a voice behind Pivot Nigeria, please visit www.highstakesprp.com to accept an invitation that will be waiting for you as you click on that platform. You can also get more information on our social media channels and also more information on the direct event link that you will find on the homepage of highstakesprp.com.
Right.
So everyone is invited to join this conversation because Nigeria's story is ours to tell. Yes. And it's not just in speaking, it's in our actions and in the way that we present ourselves everywhere that we go. Some
will be watching this program now and wondering who is behind Pivot Nigeria, especially as it's coming up as a platform to boost the reputation and the image of Nigeria. We want to be wondering if it's being sponsored by the government, perhaps. So could you clarify on who is actually, who is running or who is behind Pivot Nigeria?
Okay, so Pivot Nigeria is being hosted and implemented by highstakesprp.com. It's the PR agency, a full service PR firm of experts in public relations who are a part of, who are in a partnership on this. And of course, we have volunteers who are behind that. And so I'm leading this charge. Of course, we've reached out to the government, the National Orientation Agency, the Ministry of Culture, Arts, and the Ministry of Communication. So we're all going to work together. Of course, we've also reached out to the agencies who are some of our gatekeepers, like FAN, like Customs, and the Immigration Service. So we're going to see all of these rolling out. But really, the driver behind this is high stakes PR, HSPRP, as we fondly call it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining the program this morning, Victoria Uwadoka. It was such a pleasure having you, Convener of Pivot Nigeria, Reframing the Lens. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I wish you a great conference ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we've come to the very end of the Afia Morning Show this Tuesday morning. On behalf of the entire production team of the Afia Morning Show here at Afia TV, this is saying thank you for watching. Good morning once again. I remain Nathalie Uku.
And I remain Oji Nwachuku. Have a splendid Tuesday. Bye for now.